Hi, my wonderful Yin Yogis. So, today we are going to look at resilience. And what I want you to do is start off in a seated position, however's comfortable. This is Yin Yoga, so it's not about sitting in lotus position or with your legs around your neck, but it's about sitting in whatever way is comfortable, sloppy, hunched over. I mean, we'll work on our posture a little bit, but whatever's comfortable for you. And when you're in that seated position, I want you to just take a moment to ground yourself into the spot. Don't try and alter your breathing at the moment, but just let it naturally do its thing. Maybe placing one hand on your belly and another on your chest. And just like a wave, as it peaks and troughs, just notice your chest rising and falling, and your stomach and ribs expanding and relaxing as the breath naturally enters your lungs, and then without you even really needing to do anything, leaves before starting all over again. And now what we're going to do is we are going to just start tweaking our breath a little bit to come into something that's known as square or 4x4 breathing. Maybe keeping your hands where they are or letting them just loosely fall by your side or onto your knees. We're going to breathe in for the count of 4. Hold it for 4. Breathe out for 4. And hold it for 4. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Keep going, 2, 3, 4, hold at the top, 2, 3, 4, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, and hold at the bottom, 2, 3, 4, and just keep going, keep flowing in your own time. So your count of 4 may be slightly faster. You may want to really exaggerate that breath, and your count of 4 may be a little longer than mine was. Imagine that square, and as you breathe in for 4, focus maybe a bright light going up one side of the square. As you hold, that light trails across the top. As you breathe out, that bright light charts its way down the other side. And as you hold at the bottom, that bright light finds its way back to the start before repeating again. Keep the breath going. This is a really, really great technique, a great way of really subtly, without anyone really noticing unless they're paying extreme attention to what we're doing, of just helping us to feel calm, whatever life throws at us. Taking almost reassurance from the fact that life will always put obstacles in our path, send challenges our way, and it's not about trying to eradicate those challenges. It's about continuing to breathe through them. And this is a technique, this 4x4 breathing, that's adopted by Navy SEALs in America. So that even if they need to do it in the absolute heat of the moment, without any forewarning, they can use this technique just to calm their breathing, to calm their mind, to calm their spirit, and to feel in control and able to cope with the challenges. Now, I'm assuming none of us here are Navy SEALs or probably at any point thinking of trying out for them. But the fact stands that this is a really powerful way of telling your breath, of telling your mind, of telling your body, I've got this. And even if I can't control what happens, I'm in control. Okay. Slowly just allowing your breath to return a bit more to normal, a bit more natural. Maybe moving your fingers and toes, perhaps circling your neck or taking a big stretch up to the ceiling before coming into our first resilience themed pose. So, what says resilience more than a dragon, I say? So let's find our way into dragon pose as I get my timer up. And when you've found your space, what we're going to do is taking a bolster or a cushion or a rolled up blanket, anything you've got will do. And you're going to plant one foot forwards, coming into a nice, strong, upright lunge. You should feel it in your hip flexor. And you're going to wedge your blanket, your cushion, your pillow underneath the kneeling leg. And as you fold forwards, you're going to bring your hands to the inside of the planted foot, if that feels comfortable. It may be that actually just staying up here, staying upright and embodying those dragon-like feelings is enough, and that's enough on your quads, on your hip flexor. Otherwise, calming down, placing your hands inside the planted foot, maybe letting that foot fall out to the side if that feels comfortable. If you're uber flexible or have some other props, then you might bring your forearms onto the mat as well. Time has started. We're going to spend just under now 4 minutes here. Maybe coming back to that 4x4 breath. Maybe letting your head hang or nestling it into your shoulders. But wherever you are, whichever variation of the pose you've chosen to adopt, I want you to come back to those feelings of resilience. Those sensations of embodying that dragon-like feeling. Feeling powerful, feeling in control, and feeling able to cope and to face whatever life throws at you. Staying in that pose. We've got about just over 2 minutes to go. And while you're here, while you're in dragon pose, what I want you to do is I want you to maybe close your eyes down and think back to a time in your past, might be recent, might be a long time ago, when you felt most resilient, when life was maybe throwing some challenges at you, you were really struggling, but you got through. Often it's not until we look back on these times that we can realise how resilient we were. Like bamboo, however strong the wind blows, however much it bends, it will always come back to its original shape, although changed and often stronger because of the adversity that it's faced. So think back to that time in your life, maybe when you overcame a challenge, you struggled with and faced something, perhaps something that you didn't believe that you were possibly able or capable to overcome, but you did. And still maintaining that breath, I want you to think, what did you feel like during that time? What insights have you got looking back on it that inform you that you are resilient, you are strong, you are capable, and that you can get through anything? And as we come into the final 30 seconds in dragon pose, taking any tweaks, any changes, any adaptations, just to make this pose work for you, to stay in control rather than letting the pose control you. And when you're ready, just slowly peeling yourself up, finding your way out of dragon pose on this side and coming into neutral. You might find lying on your front feels comfortable, maybe resting your head in a pillow of your hands. All the while coming back to this idea of resilience. What does it mean to you? What does feeling in control mean to you? How does it feel? What does it look like? Which people help you to feel in control in your life? Coming back to that breath. And then slowly, when you're ready, peeling yourself up. Coming into dragon pose on the other side. Being aware, mindful that on this side it might feel completely different. Probably will. Again, the brilliant thing about life is every time we think that we know what we're doing, every time we come into a metaphorical pose, as it were, and we feel that we know what's coming and we've got this, we've done it before, we're going to be totally fine. It can feel completely different. And the tools and the techniques and the way of being might not work the same as it did last time. So use this pose, use this second side as an experiment, just to notice, how does it feel? What are the differences from the other side? Can you maybe go deeper into it? Is this side more flexible? Or can you maybe experiment with going deeper, and if that doesn't work, if it doesn't feel good, then just allowing yourself to rest within your threshold, staying just within the edge of your comfort zone. Don't push yourself outside of it. And just coming back to the breath there. Staying where you are. And coming back to this idea of resilience. Now, with some of you, I explored a few weeks ago. the ways in which a butterfly is one of the most resilient creatures in the world. So when a butterfly is born, when it transforms from a caterpillar into a butterfly, when it's coming out of its chrysalis, when it's biting its way out with its new, entirely yet unused wings, it's facing one of the biggest challenges in its life. It's having to fight its way out, to open that chrysalis. And it can be really tempting, if you were to see this, if you were watching on, to try and just sort of like help that butterfly out by just wedging open the chrysalis a little bit, by easing it apart and releasing that butterfly. But if you were to do this, then what is said is that the butterfly's wings wouldn't have developed the strength from fighting its way out of the chrysalis to be strong enough to fly. So in facing adversity, in getting to those points in life where we think, oh, if only someone could just help me, if someone could wave a magic wand and they could make this go away. If that were possible, if someone were to help us, if someone were to take the challenge away from us, it'd be great. We'd get somewhere, and we'd still be us, but we might not be as strong, we might not be as powerful. And next time we faced a challenge, we would struggle to be able to draw on those insights, draw on those sensations that we're drawing on now, of times past that let us know that we are incredibly resilient beings, often more resilient than we even realise, who, despite not wanting to, can guaranteed cope with any of the challenge life chooses to throw at us. Coming back to the breath, because if in doubt, we have always got the breath. And as sure as the peak of the wave is followed by the trough, is followed by the peak again, our breath naturally, without us needing to do anything, will always carry us through, will always keep going. And the challenges we face equally will always pass. Nothing is permanent. And even in the most difficult times, or even just those annoying day-to-day struggles, we can rest assured that whatever feelings they're generating in us, or however frustrating they are, they cannot and will not possibly last forever. So coming back to that breath, and then when you're ready, slowly once more, moving, inching like you're that butterfly, finding its way out of its chrysalis. I want you to find your way back into whatever option of neutral feels right for you right now. Trust your instincts and experience firsthand that feeling of resilience in your body, having been in quite a strong, quite a powerful, quite a fiery pose, hence the name. How does it feel now that you've come through it? On a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being the kind of weakest, the lowest, the flattest you felt, with 10 being the highest, where is that feeling? Where are you on that scale right now? And how has this feeling of resilience, of being in that fiery pose and coming through it, how has that impacted on you in this very moment in time? And when you're ready, we're going to find our way into our final pose in this mini session. So coming into a kneeling position again. If this isn't comfortable, then you can maybe just wedge a bolster or a cushion between your thighs. And we're going to come into turtle pose. So just bringing our arms down by our sides. Letting your shoulders completely fall to the mat, letting go of any muscle activation. And coming back to that 4x4 breath. In through the nose. 2, 3, 4, and out through the mouth. 2, 3, 4. And while we're lying here, in turtle pose, I want us to come back to a quote that, again, those of you who have been to my live sessions will have explored with me before. It's this idea of time, about sometimes, even if there's nothing that we can physically do to change a situation or to make it go away or to wave that magic wand, just trusting that time will do its thing, will work its magic, and will get us through, is the most powerful, most in control thing that we can do. And this quote from got his book here, Min Sunim. He has 2 fabulous books with lots of brilliant quotes in. And this quote from his first book says, "To get food unstuck from a frying pan, just pour water in the pan and wait. After a while, the food loosens on its own. Don't struggle to heal your wounds. Just pour time into your heart and wait. When the wounds are ready to heal on their own, they will." So coming back to your breath in this beautiful, possibly my favourite turtle pose. Maybe seeking some movement by just rolling your forehead gently back and forth across the mat. Maybe resting your head on a cushion or a blanket. And again, as we're in the final few moments, just making any tweaks, trusting that you are in control. This pose is not controlling you. My suggestions are not controlling you, but actually you have the choice, you always have the choice, to either stay if it feels right, or make some tweaks, some changes, some adaptations, or completely leave the situation if it feels wrong. Coming back to that 4x4 breathing, in through the nose, 2, 3, 4, and out through the, hold it, 2, 3, 4, out through the mouth, 2, 3, 4, and hold it, 2, 3, 4. Or as I tried to do during that one, you can completely change it. You can breathe in and out as you wish, but if you find this useful, then just practicing it as another little tool in your toolkit to help you feel in control and cope with the challenges that will always come your way. And when you're ready, finding your way slowly out of turtle pose and into our final resting position. Our final resting spot today is going to be bench pose. If you want to come into just standard Shavasana, if that feels like it would be preferable, if that would be just the ticket right now, then go for it. Trust your instincts. But if you want to try bench, then taking either a bolster, a long cushion, a rolled up blanket, placing it lengthways from the top of your mat down to, it'll come to about a third down the mat. And bringing your pelvis, your tailbone, so it's just resting at the base of this support, and then really slowly coming out of it if it doesn't feel good, but easing your way down onto that blanket, that pillow, that bolster. And having just been snuggled up in turtle pose, just explore the sensations, the feelings, the experience of lying here, even if you are lying without any props on your back, but with your chest open and your lungs really ready to be filled with air as they rise. Hold it there, and then just as every wave peaks and troughs, allowing that air to leave your lungs again before holding it at the bottom and starting all over again. Again, maybe just placing a hand on your stomach, maybe placing one on your chest, so you can really explore what it feels like as that air enters and leaves your lungs. And allowing yourself to go back to that place in time when you overcame a challenge, however small, however meaningless it may seem on insight, or maybe even how silly or meaningless it seemed at the time. No challenge is ever meaningless. We always learn something from it. We always grow stronger, more resilient, more powerful from it. So I want you to really explore that time in your life when you felt most resilient, when you came through a challenge. Embody those feelings and those sensations. How did it feel? What did you notice about yourself when you came out the other side? What did other people notice about you? What did you notice about other people? And always coming back to the breath. Taking a moment or two longer here. Staying where you are. Any sounds or distractions in the room around you, or in my room, now that I've remembered to turn my phone onto silent. Whatever those distractions are, notice them, clock them, but stay strong in this feeling, this sensation of resilience, of calm, of in control. And as you lie here in the final few minutes of this Yin mini session, I want to remind you of some words that we looked at previously around the idea of staying strong, and despite the critics, despite adversity, keeping going and daring greatly. It is not the critic who counts. Not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short, again and again. Because there is no effort without error or shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions? Who spends himself in a worthy cause? Who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement? And who, at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly. In your final few moments, in this last resting pose of today's session, I want you to think, what would you notice? What would you be doing? How would you be going through life? Tiny, tiny little day-to-day things that might change or that might stay the same. And how might other people view you? What would they notice in you? How might you be breathing? How might you be going through life if you were going through it, daring greatly? When you're ready, just slowly waking up your fingers and toes. Maybe taking a big stretch, perhaps having a little rock from side to side, maybe tucking your knees into your chest. Whatever feels good, trust your instincts, follow your breath, just like that wave peaks and troughs. Like nothing lasts forever, like time always heals and takes us through and out the other side. Just following where your resilience, where your wonderful uniqueness takes you as you find your way back into the room. Slowly rolling onto one side and finding your way up to seated. No rush, moving slowly. And when you're ready, just coming to a seated position one last time. Eyes either closed or gently just glancing to the floor. And one last time, just thinking, what will you notice? What small things will you find yourself doing as you go into the rest of your day, your evening? If you go into it daring greatly. And let's take one last big deep breath in, reaching to the sky that is there beyond the ceiling that contains us. Deep breath out, swimming your arms down. And you are all done. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me, you wonderful resilient beings. And I really look forward to seeing you either live or on YouTube at some point soon. Take care.